Broadcasting 700 WLW, an iHeartRadio station.
It's Logan Services 55th anniversary sale. Replace your air conditioner and save up to 55% on a qualifying Trane furnace. Take action with a free estimate. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Do you worry about your basement leaking every time it rains? Well, get it fixed permanently. Hey, Gary Sullivan here. Call EverDry Waterproofing today and stop worrying about your basement and start using it. Call EverDry Waterproofing for a free basement inspection today.
Rocky here. Are you too cold? Too hot? Either way, Anderson Automatic Heating and Cooling can help you. They install furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, and more. Call 513-574-0005. Remember, they're not comfortable until you are.
Celebrate Labor Day weekend this year with a bang at Rozzy's Famous Fireworks. Check out Rozzy's large assortment of backyard fireworks, perfect for your Labor Day weekend celebrations. Get 15% off purchases of $75 to $149 and get 20% off purchases of $150 or more. For more info on all their specials, go to RozzyFireworks.com. That's ROZZI Fireworks.com.
I'm John Walzak, host of the new podcast, Missing in Arizona.
And I'm Robert Fisher, one of the most wanted men in the world.
We cloned his voice using AI. In 2001,
police say I killed my family and rigged my house to explode
before escaping into the wilderness.
Police believe he is alive.
Join me.
I'm going down in the cave.
As I track down clues.
I'm going to call the police and have you removed.
Hunting.
One of the most dangerous fugitives in the world.
Robert Fisher.
Do you recognize my voice?
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Missing in Arizona.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 513-800-1550. 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. 513-800-1550.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Mercedes-Benz of FordMitchell.com.
Everyone needs help every now and then. And she's here to help us get our heads right. This is Mental Health Monday with mental health expert Julie Hattershire.
So you may have seen this story. This guy's name is Nate Byrne. He is at ABC News Australia. He's a weatherman, and he had a panic attack on the air last week. This is what it sounded like.
right through that part of the country, and we're going to see lots more rain in the days ahead. I'm actually going to need to stop for a second. Some of you may know that I occasionally get affected by some panic attacks, and actually that's happening right now. Lisa, maybe I could hand back to you.
You certainly can, Nate.
I had to...
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty scary. You can kind of hear him trying to catch his breath and everything. And we hear people go, I'm having a panic attack. I don't think I've ever had a panic attack. Maybe I have. I'm not quite sure. Here to make sense of it is our friend Julie Hattershire from BeConnected.care in Clifton and Mental Health Monday on the Scott Sloan Show. Julie, hi.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. I don't think I've ever had a panic attack. What is that like? What is take me through the sensation?
So I have had one once. It was a couple of years ago, the first and only time that I've had one. And I didn't really understand what was happening since it was new to me. And I've heard people describe it, but when it happens, if it's the first time, I really was not sure what was going on. So for me, what happened was my heart really started to race. And I started to breathe really shallowly, and I sort of got tunnel vision. Like all I could think of was, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. And there was nothing actually dangerous happening. So it wasn't an appropriate response to the circumstances. I started to get shaky, and my hands started to get numb, and my feet started to get numb. And what we know about panic attacks, there's a lot we don't know. But what we do know is that your body responds as if you are in a life and death situation. Gotcha. So if you think about all those things, heart racing, breathing faster, hands and feet getting numb, that's your body pulling all of its blood and all of its resources into the core to keep your body moving and functioning while you're trying to figure out what's going on next. And the tunnel vision is really pay no attention to anything else happening. You have to get out of this situation right now. So our body reacts as if it is under serious threat when in fact there may be absolutely nothing going on. And it's a really frightening thing.
It sounds like it too. Like literally, it's the flight or fight response gone haywire. Almost like you're in a situation that could cost you your life, but you're not.
But you're not. You're not, and that's the thing that is so perplexing to scientists and therapists and others in the mental health and neuroscience brain field is that there's nothing often that actually triggers it. There's nothing that we can point to that says, oh, yes, that's what caused it. And it is an incredibly outsized reaction to what may or may not be going on. It's fight or flight on steroids.
Yeah, I mean,
when there may be absolutely nothing going on.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there have been times in the past where maybe I've got a little anxious about something, but I don't think to the point where. So it feels like you're almost having a heart attack. I'm sure some people think they're having a heart attack or something along those lines because it seems the symptoms are the same.
They do. And for a lot of people, the symptoms look like heart attacks. They look like chest pain, difficulty breathing, shaking, nausea, tingling, sweating, choking or a smothering. You feel like you're choking or you're smothering. You can't catch your breath. You feel like you're going to die. You feel like you're not connected to your body. These are all things that people who have panic attacks report. And anybody who's ever had some anxiety about anything, you can recognize some of those sensations. But in a milder form, they're manageable. When a panic attack hits, people really do feel as if they might be dying. People have gone to the ER with panic attack symptoms that look like heart attack or stroke or some other really terrible thing, and it's just a panic attack. And I don't mean just in the sense that it's nothing, but it's not those things they think it is. It's something equally difficult, but not life-threatening.
Okay.
And the first time you have one, it can really be destabilizing because you have no idea what happened or why it happened or whether it will happen again and when it will happen again. And the anticipation of it happening again often can bring another one on.
Got it. It makes sense. So kind of what you're saying is it sounds like, for example, if you took a gun and pointed at my face, I'd have what would be a panic attack because I think I'm going to die and your body responds accordingly. But it sounds like we don't know what's triggering that. You could be in an ordinary situation. All of a sudden you have a panic attack and it's nothing that occurred around you that triggered that. So you got to find out the root cause. Is that then rooted in a panic attack, Julie, in something like a situation where there's loss or separation? I always thought that's where it stems from, right?
Could be, but not always.
Okay.
So one of the things that's happened in the last 20 or 30 years is we've done a lot more actual research on the way our brains work. And we are trying to understand why our brains, the organ that is our brain, does the things that it does. And that's something that's important to remember is we have sort of our mind. That's our consciousness, our higher level executive functioning. And then we have the organ that is our brain. And in the organ that is our brain is this very small piece called the amygdala. It's right at the brainstem. It's about the size of a walnut. And it's the primitive brain. It's the type of brain that's present in reptiles. So it's very, very primitive in its functioning. And all of our sensations, all of our sensory input goes through the amygdala. And some people's amygdalas are hypersensitive and hyperactive. So anything that's perceived as off or a little concerning or potentially problematic, in some people, the amygdala amplifies and magnifies that to such a degree that it becomes a crisis situation. We don't actually understand how that works or why that works. We just know that it happens that way sometimes.
All right. So coping skills then. If you recognize you're having a panic attack, is professional therapy in order?
Yes.
Okay.
Therapy can help for sure. There are some medications that can also help. Some people prescribe anti-anxiety medications. Some people prescribe antidepressants. And some people prescribe GABA, which is short for a very long word that I can't really pronounce very well, to help manage the hyperactive amygdala and to help calm down the anxiety symptoms that can sometimes lead to a panic attack. So sometimes people have them absent any anxiety symptoms. Sometimes people have sort of an anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety problems, and it can spike into panic attacks. So for those people, antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications can help take the edge off and keep people more at a low simmer as opposed to a full rolling boil of anxiety. And that can help too. Therapy is definitely helpful. Mindfulness, meditation, breathing, exercise, all can be helpful. And also knowing that this is what it is. Because the first thing that happens when you get hit by one of these is you really think something terrible is wrong with you. Realizing what it is can help you remind yourself this will pass. It only lasts a few minutes for most people, like 5 to 20 is about average, which feels like a lot when you're in it, but is actually not, life-threatening, and it's not going to go on all day long. You can breathe yourself back down into being embodied and inhabiting your senses. There's some exercises that you can do, some sensory grounding exercises that people can do that will help. So there are a lot of ways to cope and manage with it while we in the field try to figure out what actually is going on and how we might be able to prevent it.
Does it seem like, and by the way, Julie Hattershire is on the show this morning with Scott Sloan. It's Mental Health Monday. Every Monday this time we talk mental health related stuff. There's a story out of Australia, ABC News guy there, Nate Byrne, a meteorologist, weatherman, was having a panic attack live on the air. Just played the audio for you. Kind of scary because you can hear him trying to catch his breath a little bit. He sounded a little, tight in the chest and the like, and he threw it to the anchor, and it was kind of a smooth transition. But he said, some of you know that I've had anxiety issues before. I'm having a panic attack right now. And so he went to the weather or the news person. I don't know if he ever recovered from that thing. Maybe he did. But that's pretty scary happening on live TV. But this is something that happens to a lot of people. Is it more prevalent today? Are we seeing a rise in panic attacks? Goodness knows the society in which we live today is going to cause you to be more tense, and I would think that panic attacks and therefore would be trending up and not down.
Yes, we are seeing an increase in anxiety in general and panic disorder in particular. Just in the last 10 or 15 years, because the world gets, and we have talked about this many times on the show about other things, so much input coming in, so much stuff our brains and our minds have to manage, so much sensory input that our bodies have to manage. We have to move at such a fast rate to keep up in our world. And finding those times to really be present and ground yourself and manage your energy level and your anxiety level is not always easy for people. And so people are living, I believe, and my field I think would agree, people are living at just a generally higher level of anxiety than we were a couple decades ago even. And so when you raise that floor and now the higher level of anxiety is your baseline, then yes, panic attacks and phobias and OCD, all of those things are sort of anxiety related. They tend to escalate as well, for sure. And you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
You said you don't know if he recovered. I did watch the rest of that, the video that you sent me.
Okay.
And he did come back on at a later point in time and apologized and explained that he has these panic attacks. And apparently he wrote an article about it that many of his viewers and his co-anchors had watched, or had read, I mean. And so he did come back and he did finish his stint on the show after sort of calming himself down and getting it under control. But it was very graceful the way they handled it. It was just, I'm having this. Okay, we'll take care of it. And now I'm back and here's what happened and everything is fine. So it was seamless.
All right, so you talk to a licensed mental health therapist like yourself and or someone who can prescribe medicine. You can't, but maybe there's a pharmacological intervention, as they would call this, in helping solve this. Ultimately, is there a cure for this? If you have it, is there a way to, I guess, unlearn that behavior, or are you just something you deal with your whole life?
It's something you deal with your whole life. You can manage it better with medication and therapy and mindfulness, the strategies we've talked about already. But as far as we know, there is no cure, and that's partly because we don't know exactly what causes it. It seems to be many different things that could cause it in somebody. So until we understand what the factors are that cause it, we have no way of addressing the factors to cure it, but we can help people manage it while we're still trying to figure that out. And I'm confident that we will figure that out at some point in the foreseeable future as we understand more about how the brain works, how the body works, how the nervous system connects to all of that. As we understand more and more about that, we'll have a better shot at understanding how to fix this, how to cure this. But for right now, it's just management.
Yeah, it's such a scary illness because your heart's racing. You feel like you can't get enough air. You're almost paralyzed from fear. You're sweating. You're shaking. You get lightheaded. There's tunnel vision because all the blood is rushing to you, protect your central nervous system in your heart as opposed to your extremities. And so it's fight or flight. And I guess the thing that's scary about it, even more scary about it, is that it just comes out without any warning. I'd imagine that there's a lot of people who have this condition and very serious cases of it too, probably are averse to do anything. You're almost paralyzed by the fear of having the fear in that you don't want to go out in public.
Exactly. And I mean, think about it. If that happens when you're driving, or when you're operating heavy machinery, or when you're in charge of something very important, it can be, I mean, potentially incredibly dangerous. So people who have frequent, uncontrolled, unmanaged panic attacks often don't do a whole lot because at any point in time, with no warning and no proximal cause, they can become completely incapacitated by this.
Yep.
And terrible things can follow as a result. And so at its extreme, it can keep people home. It can keep people out of the workforce, out of cars. It can keep people not taking care of children. Because imagine if you have one of these and you're in charge of taking care of small children, it can be very hard to keep them safe while you yourself are sort of coming unglued. So it can, in extreme cases, really narrow the scope of someone's life to something very, very small.
Yeah, and it probably narrows your life down because you're afraid to go out in public, like other conditions are. But this one is probably rather treatable, I would think. How long typically does it take someone to at least be able to realize that they can control this?
Depends on how severe it is when it's first diagnosed. But again, with medication and therapy and mindfulness exercises, and also I want to say again, an understanding that that's what this is. This is not a medical condition in the sense that you are having a heart attack, for example. This is a panic disorder. It will pass. These are things you can do. Having people around you who can be supportive, who can help cue you on how to reorient yourself inside your body, because dissociation and feeling like you're outside your body and not connected to it is frequently a symptom. And to be able to reorient yourself to your five senses, what can you touch, what can you smell, what can you see, and being able to name those can help short circuit that in your brain. So if someone is prone to panic attacks, letting the people they're most frequently around know what will help them in that situation, and then being able to say, I'm having one now, and having whoever is near you be able to walk you through it and talk you down from it and be with you while you're managing it.
Real quick,
really helpful.
Got about a minute, Julie, though. Get to that, too. If somebody's having a panic, or you are maybe, and you mentioned the coping mechanisms, that's simply just getting your mind off it and focusing on something else? It sounds like you said.
It can be getting your mind off it. It can be doing controlled breathing exercises to help bring your heart rate down and your oxygen into your system, because when you breathe shallowly, you don't get as much oxygen into your system, which makes your heart work faster, which exacerbates the panic attack. It can be being very mindful about physically where you are in the world and understanding that. There are a lot of coping mechanisms that a therapist could help someone learn that can help shorten them and reduce the severity and perhaps reduce the frequency as well.
All right, Julie Hattershire at BeConnected.care. You can reach out to her at HeyJulie at the letter BeConnected.care if you had a question or comment or something you missed here too, and she's willing to help. Julie with BeConnected.care and Mental Health Monday. She's a licensed mental health therapist, practicing at Clifton right here in Cincinnati. So if that's you or someone you love, there is treatment and help. You don't have to suffer and feel like, you're going to die. You're not going to, but again, your mind is well, I don't want to use the curse word here, Julie, because it's a polite show, but you know what I mean? Your mind can really screw you over. And you know that more than anyone in what you see on a daily basis. So hopefully this maybe helps some folks. And I'm sure a lot of people too saw that and said, hey, you know what? That's me, that Nate Byrne thing on ABC News. I appreciate the time, Julie. We'll talk next week.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right, take care. Julie on the show. Let me get to a news update. That's 4 minutes from right now. And the Attorney General of Ohio, Dave Yost, joins us. You're going to hear Kamala Harris and others during this convention that starts tonight talk a lot about, well, not a lot, but the economy and price gouging. It's been the cornerstone, seemingly, of their platform now for a while. And that translates to us here in Cincinnati, home of the Kroger companies. And they want to acquire, or at least merge with Albertsons. It would make them the third largest grocer in the United States. Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's DOJ is fighting them on that. And the FTC is involved, saying that that's not going to be good for consumers. It's going to cause prices to rise. And that is antitrust violation. Maybe it is a monopoly. I'm not quite sure, because even with this merger, they would still have half the number of stores. I said half that of Walmart. They're not talking about Walmart. They're talking about blocking the Kroger-Albertsons merger, which, I don't know, if you own 9%, a 9% share of the market, does that sound like a monopoly to you, or a duopoly for that matter? Dave Yost filed a friend of the court brief in the name of the state of Ohio to prevent the DOJ and the FTC from blocking the merger. He joins the show next to talk about it and what's really going on here on the home of the Red, 700 WOW Cincinnati.
Get ready to win your way to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, and $1,000.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance knows opening a small business is a great achievement. They offer custom insurance solutions to fit your needs. Get a quote and find why over 1 million small business owners trust them at thehartford.com/smallbusiness.
We're seeing more and more heinous crimes committed in Ohio by illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here.
The driver of the minivan that hit a school bus full of kids in Clark County, now in custody. 52 kids were on board the bus at the time of the crash. One was killed. 22 others taken to hospitals.
Hermanio Joseph, charged with aggravated vehicular homicide.
Hermanio Joseph is here illegally. But Senator Sherrod Brown voted to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants, including those convicted of violent crimes like aggravated assault, child abuse, and drunk driving. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S4689, the Justice for Jocelyn Act, and start protecting Ohio families, not criminal illegals who shouldn't even be in the country. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product and don't know what to do next? Inventors, InventHelp can help you get started with your idea. Call 1-800-INVENTION or go to inventhelp.com to get your free inventor's information. They can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Get started with your idea today at inventhelp.com. InventHelp is the leading invention service company. With offices nationwide, they've been helping inventors since 1984. Inventors receive more than 10,000 patents through their patent referral services. Don't wait to get started with your idea. For free information, contact your friends at InventHelp. Go to inventhelp.com or call 1-800-INVENTION. That's inventhelp.com or call 1-800-INVENTION. They help everyday inventors just like you. Additional services include invention websites, prototype models, technical drawings, and more. They keep your idea confidential and explain every step of their invention services. Remember, that's InventHelp.com. InventHelp.com.
When there's a United Dairy Farmers nearby, special savings are too. Stop by while energy drinks are buy two, get one free. Monster, Celsius, Red Bull, and more for less. Only with UDrive Plus at UDF.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
You're listening to 700 WLW, also available on 94.5 FM W233BG Cincinnati.
News, traffic, and weather. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
President Biden set to deliver the key address on the opening night of the DNC with the 11 o'clock report. I'm Rick Ucino. Breaking now, the Democratic National Convention kicking off today in Chicago, just weeks after President Joe Biden ended his campaign for re-election and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. And the soon-to-be former president will be making the case for his VP tonight on the main stage.
Tonight, the spotlight is on President Biden as he takes the stage and delivers remarks at the DNC. This is a very different night than what his team was envisioning just a few weeks ago when he was still in the race for the White House. But tonight, aides say he'll make a strong case for Vice President Harris and her running mate, Governor Walz, and then hand off the convention to them. Tonight's theme, For the People. Aides to the president say he'll speak about how his administration has worked to ensure democracy prevailed and delivered for Americans and how it must be preserved. Karen Travers, ABC News, Chicago.
Latest ABC News Ipsos survey shows that Vice President Harris is leading Donald Trump nationally by as many as 6 points. Harris has also received a huge influx of independent support since joining the race, a 15-point swing in her favor. Let's check the latest traffic and weather together.
From the UC Health Traffic Center with UC Health, the future of care is happening now through clinical trials and innovative treatments that give patients a chance for better outcomes. Visit UCHealth.com. Southbound 75 is looking better through the Laughlin split. Watch out for a broken down eastbound 74 near Harrison-Rybolt. They're on the right-hand side. Chuck Ingram, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest forecast from the Advanced Dentistry Weather Center. Advanced Dentistry, the judgment-free dental experience you've been looking for. NoFearDentist.com.
Drier air continues to roll in this afternoon. Highs end up in the upper 70s, and we're enjoying more sunshine. It's a gorgeous day. Tonight, though, we'll cool down to the mid-50s in the overnight hours. Plus, we have a super full blue moon to enjoy for tonight. Then tomorrow, the sky will be mostly sunny. High temperatures end up in the mid-70s. From your severe weather station, I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Jennifer Ketchmark, News Radio 700 WLW.
72 degrees right now. News is a service of Ed Brun Heating and Air Conditioning. A vigil held Sunday down at the Banks to remember 29-year-old J.D. Blanks. He was shot and killed just before 11 o'clock Friday night outside of the Andrew Brady Music Center. So far, no arrests have been made. A shooting Sunday morning in Saylor Park has left one person dead. Officers found 35-year-old Michael Swearingen wounded at the scene. He later died from his injuries. No suspect information available there. And police in Fairfield are investigating a shooting that happened overnight that left a man wounded wounded inside of a home on Winton Road near Shenandoah. If you can help in any of these cases, call Crime Stoppers at 352-3040. The latest court battle over the proposed merger of Cincinnati-based Kroger and Albertsons is set for later this month, and Kroger now says if this deal is approved, they will be able to save consumers $1 billion on their grocery bills. And Ohio's Attorney General is among those now backing the proposed merger.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, along with his Alabama, Georgia, and Iowa counterparts, are leading the charge against the Federal Trade Commission and opponents for the Kroger-Albertsons merger. While the FTC states a huge merger would drive up prices and spike down wages, Yost and pro-merger colleagues argue the merger increases competition with giants such as Costco, Walmart, Aldi, and Amazon. The Ohio AG also adds he doesn't subscribe to the big is always bad antitrust beliefs. Federal and state courts will decide the fate of the merger in the next few months. I'm Lee Mowen, News Radio 700 WLW.
Dave Yost is going to be Scott Sloan's guest coming right up after the news. A great day on Wall Street thus far. Dow up 201 points. Nasdaq's picked up 69, while the S&P has gained 24. Reds looking to snap a 3-game losing streak tonight when they take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Our pregame coverage gets underway at 6:07. Our next update at 11:30. I'm Rick Ucchino, News Radio 700 WLW.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 513-800-1550. 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. 513-800-1550.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Columbia Chevrolet is your electric vehicle headquarters. Lease an Equinox EV for $169 per month or Blazer EV for $279 per month for just 27 months. $39.95 total due at signing. Together, let's drive to Columbia Chevrolet in Montgomery. ColumbiaChev.com.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 513-676-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Don't miss our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival presented by Capital One.
Las Vegas, and you're having a good time.
Friday and Saturday, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
iHeartRadio, let's go!
Get tickets now at AXS.com.
You depend on your roof to keep you safe from all sorts of extreme weather. That's why, with Fiesel, you get quality and integrity every time we build a new roof, including the best in the industry lifetime warranty on all labor and materials. No guesswork, no gimmicks, just solid craftsmanship. The details matter. That's why you hire Fiesel. Call 513-4FIESEL and mention my name, Leo, and get $1,000 off your next roof. That's 513-4FIESEL. Some restrictions apply.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Live from the 700 WLW studios. Driven by Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax. Now recognized as the largest volume Jeep dealer in Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Mike Castrucci Jeep is the #1 Jeep dealer in the tri-state. That's Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax.
Don't want to be an American idiot.
Cloney here, 700 WLW. As much as Democrats scream about gerrymandering, tell me if you don't think this is gerrymandering, just in a different way. So the Biden administration, they have announced a huge, and they've been doing this for a while, but Kamala's going to pick it up. Antitrust, right? Competition. Less competition drives consumer prices up. It screws the little guy. So as you know, Albertsons owns some big stores out west, Safeway, Acme. It's like $24.5 billion merger they want to do with Kroger. And this has been an issue for a while now. Kroger, the 4th largest grocery store chain in America. Albertsons, number 5. This would make them 3rd overall, accounting for about 9% of the 9% of the overall grocery trade. I'm not sure how that actually is a monopoly, but the Federal Trade Commission under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are attempting to block that merger. And they say it's going to hurt consumers disproportionately. Unionized labor as well. You're going to have more food deserts. You're going to starve to death because you look around in America. Oh my God, it looks like we're wasting away. 4 states have filed a friend of the court brief, including us here in Ohio, is supporting the merger. Dave Yost was on board with that. He's our attorney general. Dave, welcome back. Good to have you. How are you?
Hey, good to talk to you. I'm well.
Yeah, good. This is a core. I mean, you talk about the election, right? Bread and butter issue. Almost always the best indicator of how an election will go. So, I think what's telling to me about this is Democrats, including Kamala Harris, and she'll say at the convention, I'm sure she'll bring Kroger, Albertsons up and talk about how this is bad for consumers. But at the same time, because all politics is local, Sherrod Brown, our senator, and Congressman Greg Landsman from right here in Cincinnati both support the merger. What does that say about the validity of their argument if the politicians whose livelihood depends on local votes and if they turned around and said, no, we hate Kroger, how's that going to play in their districts? Not very well. That says a lot to me.
Yeah, I think, and it's not lost on me that Sherrod's kind of been running away again from the top of the ticket. He knows that the far left San Francisco values of this administration don't play in Ohio. So even though he votes all the time with Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, he's trying to make us believe that he's somebody other than who he actually is.
Well, the reason why is because they say, well, Kroger, a pretty big union company. They're unionized workers there, too, and I don't want to hurt the union and the workers. And at the other side of the fence, you've got Kamala Harris and Joe Biden talking about how this is actually going to hurt the workers. Not hurt, it's going to help the unions. So they're actually voting against what it is initially that their standard bearers want in the first place. It makes no sense. When you talk about no competition, let me just run down the list. I Googled this. I actually do a little show prep from time to time, Dave. I'm doing a little research here for you.
I will hold it against you.
Get a pen, write this down. Right here in the Cincinnati area, right here in our region, our area, you have, and there's no competition, right? You have Amazon, there's Walmart, there's Aldi, there's Meijer, you got Dollar General, you got IGA, Jungle Gyms, Findlay Market, Whole Foods, Fresh Time, Fresh Market. You have a bunch of independent mom and pop, halal, Asian, Indian, Eastern Bloc grocers. Plus, I didn't even mention GFS, Gordon Food Services. Anybody can walk in there and buy stuff. Sam's and Costco, both those memberships. That is a short list of the many grocery stores that I have that I just looked at Google and found. It doesn't sound to me like we're in danger of a monopoly. Does it to you?
No, and that's what the point we made in our brief. There's lots and lots of competition out there, and the margins are already very, very thin. Our grocery bills have gone up, but you know what that's not due to? That's not corporate greed. They're still making very, very thin margins on the grocery business. This is about inflation.
Yeah.
It's about federal spending and the expansion of the money supply. It's Biden-inflation. But Kroger's is not making that. They're just passing on that those cost increases through inflation to all the rest of us. The bottom line is for Kroger's to, in this environment, survive and thrive, they need the scale that a Walmart brings. And the way they do that is by joining forces with Albertsons. This is actually pro-competitive because what is just like in healthcare, some of these small hospitals, if they don't link up with the bigger chains, they go out of business. And then where are you?
Yeah.
You got nobody to compete.
Well, that's a central issue. This is the cycle of economics. And for example, I'll use something just happened. Marijuana, recreational marijuana in Ohio, I think did something like 12 million its first week here. We have high demand, but very, very limited supply because there's still not all the retailers getting online at this point. So when that happens, we'll have full market saturation, and then there'll probably be oversaturation. We'll see price wars, and the prices will come down like they are in Michigan. And it's really, really cheap in Michigan because there's a lot of saturation. At that point, you've got thin margins, and so what happens then is the whoever the most aggressive one is or who's bankrolled the best goes and buys up the smaller ones that are on the fringe. And as you mentioned, it's an economy of scale. You make money by having a lot of places to get the product, but the product is only making fractions of a cent on the dollar. That's how you turn a profit. And that's what's going to happen with marijuana. That's essentially what's happened with the grocery stores. But we've got to win an election, and so we have to do this if you're the Democrats. And the idea is that the little guy's getting screwed. There'll be more food. How could there possibly be a food desert, Dave, when they deliver groceries